Okay, so you see my screen, right? Do you all see my screen? Hello?
No, Baba, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet? Oh, okay. Okay. Just making sure. Is everyone awake or sleeping? Okay, probably now you are able to see, right?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay, good. So, yeah, just give a second. Someone came here in person. Okay, Hare Krishna, please come. Hare Krishna, please come. Please sit. Yeah. So I think I saw you both at the temple yesterday.
Yeah.
You were there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah. So what's your name?
Mangesh.
Mangesh.
Madekar.
Oh yeah, you
Another
attended the
group.
other one, right?
Yeah.
On Sunday, last Sunday.
Last Saturday.
Sorry, last Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mangesh. Okay. Your name?
Nirbhay.
Nearby.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is first time.
This is your first. Yeah. So you both live in Bothel?
No, I stay in we stay in Redmond.
Redmond. Okay. Your roommates?
No.
Okay.
They're friends.
Friends. Okay. So, so just getting started. There are a few people online. Okay. You can see everyone, right? Yeah. And the online participants, if you are able to turn on your video, that'll be great. So that we don't feel like we're talking to, some black boxes. Okay, so I think there are only two people, Nirbhay and Sushma, who missed the first class. I know you joined last week.
But that was another class.
There was another class. You missed the first class.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so I'll just give a quick recap of what we covered in first class. Okay, so this course is titled as Discover Yourself. Okay. It's a scientific overview of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, 700 slokas. So we are trying to present a summary of Bhagavad Gita in 7 sessions. Okay, and these are the 7 topics that we're going to cover. The first session is Search for Happiness, which we discussed last week's class. And does God exist? Who am I? The science of the soul. Who is God? Why bad things happen to good people and vice versa. Why good things happen to bad people. Demystifying yoga. So we hear of different types of yoga, right? Hatha yoga, heart yoga, this yoga, that yoga. Yeah. So, but what exactly is yoga? What is the purpose of yoga and what is true yoga? And then in the end, the last session, practical application of Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. So Hare Krishna. Yeah, Monica and Madhu. Yeah. Hi. How are you? Arjun, right? Yeah. Wow. You're the perfect student for this class, Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So, I mean, there are 700 different commentaries on Bhagavad Gita, or maybe more actually. So if you look in any bookstore or in the market, right, you go to Amazon and look up Bhagavad Gita, you will find plenty of different commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. So you don't know which one is genuine, which one is not. Okay, different people understand Bhagavad Gita differently. You understand Bhagavad Gita in your own way. I understand in my own way. But what is the correct way of understanding Bhagavad Gita is the way how Arjuna understood it. The way how Arjuna understood it. So Arjuna in the beginning, he was bewildered looking at his I mean, just because I heard the name Arjun, I'm just giving some side conversation. So Arjuna was bewildered on the battlefield, looking at his relatives, grandfather Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya, his teacher. So they were ready to fight against him on the opposite side of the battlefield. So looking at all of those people, he was bewildered. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sudhakar, yeah. Jyoti, right? Your name? Yeah. Sudhakar Jyoti. Welcome. Okay, Kalpana is sick. She didn't come. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. For everyone who is online, we have some people in person. We're just settling down. So in the beginning, Arjuna was confused and he decided not to fight. Then Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to encourage Arjuna to fight. And in the end, Arjuna said, Karishe Vachanam Tava. I am ready to do whatever you want. In the beginning, he gave up fighting and he decided, I cannot do this fighting. Okay. He put his Gandiva bow away and he said, I cannot fight. And after hearing Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, in the end, Arjuna said, Karishe Vachanam Tava. I am ready to do whatever you instruct. If you ask me to fight, I will. If you ask me not to fight, I will not. So that should be the mode of learning Bhagavad Gita. So we should understand Bhagavad Gita like how Arjuna understood it, and we should implement it the way how Arjuna implemented it. Because these are the two primary characters in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna and Arjuna. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita and Arjuna is a student. So Krishna is teaching to all of us via Arjuna. Krishna is using Arjuna as a via medium to teach all of us Bhagavad Gita. So just like, a newly married, bride. So when she comes to in-laws home, the mother-in-law wants to teach the culture of the home and, what to do, what not to do. And, different things, maybe she wants to discipline the the daughter-in-law. But how does the mother-in-law teach? How does she teach? Any experienced daughter-in-laws in person or on the call? So how does mother-in-law teach the daughter-in-law?
I think Prabhuji, mother-in-law, like every house have their own routines, discipline, whatever they carry forward, the way they do puja, things, everything is different from each other. So maybe mother-in-laws and our place would be like quite different cultures. So it depends. Like you said, the Bhagavad Gita is read by everyone in different ways and followed in a different way. So I think even this is like same thing. So when we go to mother-in-law's place, they have different things to do.
Yeah.
And our place, it is different like that.
Okay, but does mother-in-law teach directly?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. So
and sometimes it is like self-learning thing only. You see and you just follow it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone else would like to add anything? Huh? Through husband. Okay. You're close actually. You're close. Okay. You're pretty close. Yeah.
I think mother-in-law should have knowledge first of all. What are the things? She should have knowledge that what are good, what are bad. Then only so, even though if she's do bad things, maybe they won't be so I should have how she teaches. How teaches?
Yeah, how mother-in-law teaches.
Okay. I think through by example, right?
By example.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, by example is one thing. But let's say sometimes the daughter-in-law is doing some mistakes. She's new to the house and, the mother-in-law wants to teach, she wants to discipline the daughter-in-law. So how does she handle that situation? How does mother-in-law handle that situation?
But first she will follow. Mother-in-law will follow.
Yeah. mother-in-law will follow, that's fine. But if daughter-in-law is doing some mistakes,
by seeing we can learn.
if daughter-in-law does not learn, she's new, right? Assume that she was pampered by parents at their home, and she is just new to the daughter-in-law in-laws home. So it's natural, right? First 1 year is like a learning period. So many mistakes and so much of chastisement, disciplining.
Yeah, even Arjuna did not want to fight first, right? Yeah, so even though that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So maybe
He
if
waited
she doesn't
until
listen.
what is the right time and started teaching. Right?
So Krishna waited for the right time
Yeah.
to teach. Okay, that's also a good point. Okay.
You can also get angry sometimes. But the angry means for good cause, right?
Yeah.
She can also get angry so that she can change his behavior. Oh, something I did wrong, that's why she got angry.
Okay.
She may change like.
Okay.
Communicate if she doesn't listen.
Okay. Yeah, Mahi, I see you just joined.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Yeah.
So, you're married, right?
Yes. I'm married.
Okay. Any experience with your mother-in-law?
No.
Do you understand my question? I don't know when you joined, but my question is, how does mother-in-law teach to daughter-in-law who is new to the home?
Mother-in-law take care whether her daughter, I mean, she take care her daughter like the same the daughter-in-law also.
If daughter-in-law is doing some mistakes, how does mother-in-law teach to her?
By demonstration.
By demonstration. Okay, that is good. So as Monica said, right? Through husband. It's not actually through husband, but through her own daughter. Okay, through her own daughter. It could be through her own son also. But if he is teaching through son, then there is another issue that comes, right? Mother-in-law is telling the son to tell to their wife, so that can create another challenge. So the third party is, did you say third party? Oh, very good. You are smart. Wow, you have. Oh, Madhav, awesome. So, yeah, third party. So the mother-in-law uses her own daughter to teach an example, to teach a lesson to daughter-in-law. So mother-in-law will tell the daughter, in circumstances like this, you should do like this. You did like this, you should have done like this, or you could do like this. So then the daughter-in-law is not offended, and the relation is maintained nicely. So similarly, Krishna is using Arjuna as a via medium to teach to us. Now Krishna says, okay, forget about all your Amazon, Microsoft work, everything that you are doing, and just cultivate knowledge of the soul. We'll all keep Bhagavad Gita away, and because the mind always resists. If somebody is forcing, mind always resists, right? But if somebody is teaching in a, if somebody is teaching using palatable words and in a systematic way, with love and affection, then the mind can understand. Just like how you chastise your children, right? What's your name? Huh? You can remove mask. No mask needed. Okay. So what's his name? Samet.
Yeah, Samet.
Okay, Samet. Okay, yeah. So we have two young children, Samet and Madhav. So just like how you chastise the children, right? So one way of chastising is like Indian style. Okay, with anger and using harsh words and hey, don't do that, do this. Okay, then how will children take it? They won't understand anything. Okay, but if you sit down with the child and then explain, reason them, and give the logic, why they should not do in such a way, then they'll understand. So that's what Krishna did exactly. Okay, he's using Arjuna as a via medium to teach this Bhagavad Gita knowledge to all of us. So in the last week class, we discussed, okay, so anyone remembers any points from last week? So I'll use
Yes,
this as an opportunity to give a recap to the 3 new people. In
yes,
fact, five new people. Yeah.
yes. We have 4 steps to remember. One is the soul and health. I mean, body, soul, health. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, soul, health. Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
mm, third one is
I think I can add.
wealth, right? Soul, health, wealth. Fourth one, I forgot it.
I think I can add. So
Yeah, go ahead.
yesterday, so that's why I'm more fresh. But
Yes.
I think everyone has like 4 elements, or you can say 4 major things that you get attached to your physical body. Then comes all the materialistic riches and gains, and then third one is your relatives or friends or partners or spouses you rely on, and then the final one that you completely ignore all through your life that actually stays with you after your death is your soul. So I think those are like the 4 elements that are connected to you in this life, and the way we prioritize them in this life is how the perception develops. So that's kind of the gist.
Okay. So that's good. Any other points that we discussed last week?
I remember that you asked some questions like, who am I? Where am I going? Where did I come from? These questions I remember.
Yeah, but before that, what was the context or background of asking those questions?
Before that, I remember you said everyone chases like happiness.
Okay.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, by the way, let me show you the audience. For the online Zoom participants, we call them as demigods. Because we can't see them, sometimes we can hear, sometimes we cannot hear. So those are demigods who are online. So we have some sages sitting here in person. Like Srimad Bhagavatam, all the sages, they assembled in Naimisharanya forest discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. So just like that. Oh yeah, this you can face it the audience. Very good. Yeah, thank you. Is good? Okay. Okay, so we discussed the story of 4 wives to illustrate the fact that we all have 4 wives in our life. Okay, the 4 different wives are body, soul, wealth, and then wealth, name, fame, and then the 4th one is relations. Okay, so most of the time or all the time, we only take care of the 3 wives. The body, we adorn this body with nice garments, and then so much so much of money is spent in cosmetic industry in the name of beauty products and everything. So we spend a lot of time and effort and money in taking care of the body. Okay, and then wealth. The second one is wealth. So third one is relations. So these 3 wives, they do not come with us when we die. The body, the wealth, and then relations. Relations, the farthest they can come is to the graveyard. And And these days, even that is not happening, right? We have seen in COVID time, when parents passed away, a lot of people, they did not go to India, in the excuse of COVID. That's not a genuine excuse, actually. If the parents are in difficult situation, no matter what the situation is, one must go. Why? The COVID situation was definitely horrible, right? So why do you think the children must go when parents are in difficult situation? Responsibility. Okay.
They are very close to God, actually. Mother.
Okay.
they are like- yeah. Because
Okay.
God cannot see everything, so he made the mother and father.
But how many of us give that much respect to parents, or how many of us consider parents as close to God? So this is Kali Yuga, right? So those values have degraded so much. So even in these days, okay, why? What is the logic? One must apply when somebody, is evaluating, should I go to India or not when my parents are in difficult situation or at the tail end of their life. Let's say they are on deathbed. The children here, they have so many excuses, right? Either my work, I don't have, time off from my manager, or COVID, I cannot travel, those things. But what logic makes sense? And by applying that, you're convinced that you must go. Because I have seen, some of my friends who did not go to India when their parents passed away. And some of them, they did not even go after 2 years. Okay, so how horrible the situation is. The simple logic is, now just imagine the children are in that situation on the deathbed. Will the parents give any excuse? No, right? No, right? No matter what the situation is, no matter how horrible the COVID situation is, no matter what other obstacles are, parents will come definitely. Even by risking their life, they will come. So if we just contemplate on that, then children will be able to go. They'll have conviction to go. Yeah. You may risk your life, but still you must go. You may risk your visa. Some of my friends, they did not go because of visa status. Without visa, can't you live in India? So that's the Kalpana Garu, Hare Krishna. So that's the sad part of it, So this slide, it was saying, I'll show you that slide, okay? So fourth wife is body. No matter what you do, it will not come with you after you die. And third wife is possessions, your name, fame, wealth, assets, etc. So after your death, they'll go to someone else. And family and friends. So the farthest they can come is to the graveyard. But just now we discussed, time has degraded, right? These slides were prepared probably, 15, 20 years ago. Still, there were some moral values and, but now things have degraded. So now even this is not applicable now. Children are not going to the graveyard when parents are dying. Okay. So the only thing that comes with you at the time of death or after death is soul. Okay. That's the only thing that can come with you. So we discussed this, and then we jumped on to the topic of happiness. Okay, that's the title of this first session, Search for Happiness. In the 7 series, seminar on Introduction to Bhagavad Gita, the first topic is Search for Happiness. We are all looking for happiness in life. Okay, whatever you do, you study, you get married, you work, you buy luxurious houses, super fast cars, super fast trains, everything, you go on nice vacations, latest phones, elegant cruises, everything. Okay, despite all this technological advancement and material advancement, we are not happy. This is what we discussed last week. Okay, we are happy sometimes and we are not happy other times. So it's flickering happiness. Okay, so anything, no matter how great the thing is, you go to a great vacation, you get a greatest and latest iPhone. You buy the greatest house among your friend circle. Let's say you buy a house with 20 million. Still, that happiness does not last for a long time. Okay, let's say you buy a new iPhone 14. After 2-3 days, you are looking for something else. Yeah, you're looking for something else. Yeah. So when you buy a house, maybe the happiness might last for more days, maybe 6 months or 1 year. When you go on vacation, the happiness might last for a week. But after that, you're always hankering for something new. Okay, you're never satisfied. And why is that? We also discussed why is that? Does anyone remember? Why? Why we are not happy despite of so much that we do, right? Most of us, we are working at least 10 to 12 hours a day, thinking that we'll be happy, but we are not happy. Okay, why?
Because of the stress.
Because of?
Stress.
Because of stress. Okay, why are we stressed?
So we want more. Like it's not
Greed.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's finite, fixed. Like only particular time you get that happiness. After that, it's not like everlasting. It's like
You
finite.
buy one house, you desire for more houses.
Mhm.
One car, more cars. It never ends. Never
Yeah.
ending.
Okay. Yeah, that's greed. Good. So there is lust, anger, and greed. So lust is strong desire to get something. Okay. If the lust is fulfilled, it leads to greed. You want more. Okay. Let's say you have a desire to get iPhone 14. Okay. Now, if you get an iPhone 14,
More versions.
you want more features or more versions or something new. If that desire is not fulfilled, it leads to anger.
Depression.
Yeah, anger followed by depression. But why all these things? Anger, lust, greed, stress, depression. Why all this? I want some participation from online people as well. Sushma?
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah. So why are we not happy? Are you happy, first of all?
That's a very good question. I
Yeah.
think happiness can be defined in every person's perspective as a different concept.
Yeah.
Some are happy doing service, some are happy doing their own work, like their own office work could be like their happiness, or
Okay.
for some it's like going on trips or traveling is happiness. So happiness for me is something where I can live myself stress free, like
Mhm.
not with a lot of stress or a lot of disturbances.
Yeah.
So I think at present I deal with my stress very practically, like very conceptually. So I think I'm happy. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Tanuka, you're able to say something? You're on mute.
Yeah, I think our soul is not happy.
Yeah.
We are looking for materialistic, we are looking for happiness in materialistic thing. But from inside, from soul, our soul is not happy. So we don't feel the happiness for a long time. So no, maybe
Very-
that is.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So you put it nicely. The soul is not happy, but the body is happy temporarily. Okay. The senses are happy for some time. So Sushma, you said you are happy, right? So you're happy temporarily.
Yeah, I think in materialistic way, yes.
Yeah, your senses are happy, but there is no satisfaction, there is no content, there is no fulfillment. Okay, that's why you always want to do, more and more things. If you go to one vacation, then you are looking for something else next year. So it never ends. Your desires never end, and your pursuits never stop in the search of happiness. Okay. And by the way, we are not putting a gloomy picture here. Okay. So when we say that we are not happy and everyone thinks that they are happy, so we are not putting a gloomy picture here. Yes, we are happy, and we need to be happy to be, healthy and emotionally, stable, right? We need to be happy. Otherwise, it can lead to health problems. So whatever the temporary happiness that you get in the material world, okay, we must take it. It's not like you don't do anything and don't get any happiness. Okay, don't buy iPhone 14, don't buy any house, or don't buy any laptop. We are not asking anyone to lead a life like a yogi or sadhu. Okay, but while living in this material world, while trying to satisfy our senses and get some temporary happiness, we are urging everyone to get permanent happiness, the bliss. Okay.
We're searching wrong happiness in the wrong place.
Yes, very good. That was my question. Why we discussed last week, why we are not happy in this, in whatever we are doing, is because we are looking for happiness, as Madhav said. We are looking for happiness in a wrong place and in a wrong way. The wrong place is material world. Material world, everything is matter. It's temporary. Okay. The nature of matter is temporary. That's why we don't get permanent happiness. So how to uproot them? And then we ask these questions, right? Have you ever thought in your life? So you say you want to be happy, but we must define who is that I? Who am I? I want to be happy, but who is that I? Okay. And where did I come from? What's my purpose in life? Where am I going? What is this universe? Who created this entire world? Is it some big bang or just some chance theory? The universe just occurred by chance, randomly, or is there an intelligent design behind it? What are the stars? Is there life after death? What is the purpose of my existence? How do I see? Why do I see many problems around? Okay. So this is where we stopped. Okay. So there are two things, right? One is either you don't acknowledge that life is full of problems, or you acknowledge that life is full of problems and then you look for solutions. Okay. So is there anyone who says there are no problems in life? Madhav? Samir?
I think no one.
No one. Okay.
Yes.
So somebody volunteered on behalf of everyone. Who is that? I don't see this.
Mahi.
Mahi?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Thank you, Mahi, for volunteering on behalf of everyone and making it simple. Yes, there is no one, right from a small child to the 99-year-old person, and right from a poorest poverty-stricken person to the most richest person in the world. No one is exception. Okay, everyone is subject to problems. So if everyone acknowledges that there are problems in everyone's life or in this world, then congratulations. So you are in the right forum. You are in the right forum. So in due course of time, we'll see how to uproot these problems and how to achieve that permanent happiness. Okay. So we discussed, no matter what you do, we are all bombarded with so many of these problems, panic attacks, depression, dissatisfaction. So these are some of the big problems that we see in the society today. Public unrest, communal violence, terrorism. Wars. And all these things are increasing every year. You might find some statistics, but they're all increasing every year. Lack of morality. Okay, so in Satya Yuga, the Dharma was walking on 4 legs, and in Treta Yuga, Dharma was walking on 3 legs. Dwapara Yuga, Dharma was walking on 2 legs, and now we are in Kali Yuga. Dharma is walking on only 1 leg. It's not walking; it's limping. Dharma is limping on 1 leg. Okay, so unless we do our part to protect Dharma and nurture our culture, Dharma will not protect you. Okay, they say, right? Vriksho rakshati rakshita. If you take care of trees, trees will take care of you. Dharmo rakshati rakshita. If you protect Dharma, Dharma will protect you. Okay, so lack of morality, it's degrading every year. So the classic example is, 5 to 10 years ago, when parents were in a difficult situation in India, we used to go. But now, nobody. I mean, last 2 years, I was really astonished, actually. My close friends, some of my close friends, they did not go. So I was so astonished. Yeah.
Sometimes if we want to go also outside, situation is not.
No, that's what we discussed before you came. That's what we discussed. So when it is a time to go and take care of parents, there should not be any excuse. Yeah, no matter what, you must go. Like a soldier. See, soldiers.
Sometimes the flights was not there, right? We can't.
Yeah, if there is no, I mean, that was only for maybe 1 month or even less than 1 month, actually. Yeah, that somebody cannot even go. That was only, I don't know, even for 1 month, there's a complete stoppage.
Even that 1 month emergency was there.
Yeah.
It was difficult to get on them, but yeah, there were still.
There were alternatives. There were always alternatives. Yeah. So, and then when that emergency window, that 1 month window was introduced, later on, even though flights were open and people were able to go, they took advantage of that and gave that as an excuse, and they did not go. Okay. So lack of morality, crime, prison population. I mean, these numbers are very dated. The statistics show here only, until 2000, but now in the last 20 years, you can just imagine, how high these numbers went up. So 1.4 million in 2000 year. Okay, now you can just imagine what would that number be. Gun sales, murders. Okay, now there are 2 children who are watching this slide. Before finishing school, an average child watches 8,000 murders on the TV. Okay, it might be more now. I mean, if you watch 1 movie, you might see 8,000 murders in just 1 movie. Okay, these are the problems in school. And they're always on the rise. So the question is, are we really advancing in the right direction? In the name of scientific development and material advancement, are we really advancing in the right direction? So we discussed the 4 wives in the beginning, right? So on that topic, there are 4 Qs. Okay, one of the Qs is intelligent quotient. Okay, Q is quotient. So everyone is aware of intelligent quotient. Madhav? IQ. They say IQ, right? So they measure a person's intelligence by giving some IQ. Okay, somebody is saying on the online something.
I wanted the screenshot, so I just don't.
You wanted what?
The slide.
You wanted the slides?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll send you.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, so among the 4 Qs, intelligent quotient, IQ is 1. So does anyone know the other 3 Qs?
EQ. Emotional quotient. EQ.
Sorry? EQ, emotional quotient. Very good. Yeah, Nirbhai said emotional quotient. Okay. What are the other 2? What are the other 2? Madhu, I cannot see you. Move a little bit this side. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Sushma. So there is IQ and then EQ.
Prabhuji,
emotional.
relations, I guess. Friends, relatives, like social.
That's
Something
emotional.
like social.
That's emotional quotient.
Okay.
Yeah. So how your social life is and how your relations with others are. It's all about emotions. So that's emotional quotient. Okay. Nirbhai said that emotional quotient. Yeah. IQ, EQ, and two more. Sagarika, you joined?
Yes, I just joined a few minutes ago.
Thank you. You are an intelligent person. So tell me, what are the other 2 Qs?
I don't know. I'm not. I think I've just heard about IQ and EQ only.
Okay.
Nothing.
So
maybe spirituality, Prabhuji.
Spirituality.
Yeah. Like how,
Yes.
like in 4 lives, they say, na, we have to have spirituality, emotion, and intelligence is also one thing.
Yeah, perfect. SQ. Okay, one of the Qs is SQ, spiritual quotient. Okay, so now we have IQ, EQ, and SQ. So what's
I think there is something for like exercising, like physical activities. Maybe that's something. I think it's called like I don't remember what quotient exactly it is, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, well-being. Excellent, Sushma. So as I said in the beginning, Sushma is very intelligent. She said the right answer. PQ, physical quotient.
Yeah.
Okay, physical quotient. You do exercise, take care of your body. That's the 4th wife, right? That we discussed. Okay, so those 4 wives you can relate to the 4 Qs. Okay, and a person can be happy, fully happy, truly happy only when they develop these 4 Qs to the level that is needed. Okay, IQ, PQ, EQ, and SQ. Even UNESCO, the United, what is UNESCO full form? United Nations of, no, not UNESCO, WHO, World Health Organization. Okay, World Health Organization defines health as a person can be considered healthy only when if they have 3 types of health. One is physical health, and second, mental health. Actually 4 actually. Physical health, mental health, and then emotional health, how their social life is. And then 4th one is spiritual health. Okay, so even WHO, they gave a definition of happiness. A person can be considered truly happy only when they are happy in these 4 areas. So most of the times, the spiritual happiness is neglected. If that is neglected, even the other 3, even if one achieves the other 3, they don't feel the fulfillment, and even those will seem like they are lacking in those 3 areas. Okay. For example, if somebody is not spiritually quotient enough, okay, their physical quotient and emotional quotient will not be balanced. Because they'll always feel something is missing. Okay, they're not connected, they're not content. They'll feel something is missing always. No matter what they do, they're always missing something. So their emotional health, physical health, mental health, everything will be disturbed. So, okay, that's good. Now, so let's come to this. Are we really advancing in the right direction? And we all know that we are not advancing in right direction. So what's the solution? So before we come up with the solution.
Actually, I'm not able to see the slides. I'm not sure if it's being shared.
Screen is shared.
Here on Zoom. On Zoom, I'm not sure if others are able to see.
Yeah. I did not share. Yeah, I turned off the sharing when I was talking. Okay, let me share back. Okay. Okay, so this is the slide. So we are saying, no matter, despite all the technological advancement, are we really advancing in the right direction? In the name of scientific development, are we really advancing in the right direction? We all agree that we are not. So then what's the solution? So before we find a solution, we must understand the problem statement. Okay, we must understand the problem statement. So in computers, when we are all working at our workplaces, so when a problem occurs, so we must understand the problem statement clearly. So if the problem statement is understood clearly, 50% of the job is done. Right? Did we hear this in our training classes? If you understand the problem, 50% of the job is done. Okay. So let's define the problem. So problem for one is solution to others. There are 2 types of problems. Okay. Relative problem and real problem. So what's the relative problem? Some examples of relative problems. So this is the definition of relative problem. Problem for one, solution to others. Or in other words, it could be a problem to Sudhakar, but not to Nirbhay. Could be a problem to Madhu, but not to Mangesh. Or what is problem for Madhu is a solution to Mangesh. So some examples. Madhu, Madhav. Getting sick. Okay. So how is that a problem to someone and solution to others?
Problem for someone is like they have to stay in their room. Solution for others, maybe they don't have to go to work or school.
Oh, okay. You're smart. Okay.
Maybe they don't repeat. When I'm sick, right?
Mhm.
The others think that, oh, I should not get sick or something. Maybe the solution. Suppose I drink bad water and get sick, right? So the solution to others, they don't drink bad water. Well, that's a bad example, but
Kind of awareness, I mean to say.
It's awareness.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
one person, if he's done a mistake, because of which he got sick.
Yeah.
It's kind of an example for others that don't do that.
Yeah. No. So when you are sick, so who can benefit out of it? Doctors. Yeah. Are you a doctor, by the way? I see care on your t-shirt. Okay. So yeah. So when somebody is sick, it's a problem for them. But the same problem is a solution or an opportunity for a doctor. Okay. And any one more example from anyone?
I mean, being wealthy could be a solution to you, but actually no.
It could be,
Yeah, it could like be a problem for like not so.
Yeah, actually, it's a good point. If you accumulate more than what you need, if you become too much wealthy, right? Then it's a solution to you. You are happy, but it's a problem for others. See, if you are accumulating more money means you're actually gathering money that actually belongs to someone else. In this world, everything is set as a quota. In India, we see this ration quota, right? Rice. This family gets 2 kgs of rice this month. Okay. And there is a big family, they get 5 kgs of rice this month. Like that, every living entity, human beings, animals, insects, reptiles, every living entity, other trees, every living entity, they have been given a specific quota. And that quota is in terms of food, in terms of clothing, in terms of housing, everything. But when we exceed that, when we gather more than what is needed, more than the basic, more than what is needed, you're actually gathering what is belonging to others. Right? It's a simple logic.
It's a simple example, for example. I mean, if we have a bag of grains outside, then if a bird comes, it'll take how much ever it needs.
Yes.
But then if we see the grain of bag, we'll just put everything inside and keep it. It's a trouble for that bird.
Yeah.
Who's not able to get the food.
Yeah.
And we are kind of stocking.
Yeah. Even though we don't need it, we kind of stock. As you said, right? Greed. So even though we don't need it, but we just stock it. I mean, most of the stuff in the home, I mean, Yashodamai Mataji and Nanda Maharaj, they don't have a lot of stuff. They only have basic things. They have one sofa and, one altar, basic stuff. But, sometimes we can go to our own garage and see how much we have accumulated. That's why.
Prabhu is glorifying us, but he's not visited the garage.
That's why we are sitting in the living room and talking. So, I mean, if you go to garage,
we have a lot of stuff in the garage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, a lot of stuff we don't even need.
Costco, one free and the other one take 2.
Yeah. So we don't need most of the times, so
sometimes we even waste so much of food there.
We waste so much of food. Yeah. Yeah. So problem for one, solution to others. For example, there is a shopkeeper who sells umbrellas. Okay. And now when it rains, it's a problem for the farmers, or I mean, farmers need some rain, but when it rains heavily and continuously, it's a problem for them. Problem for everyone. They cannot go out freely and, but it's a great solution for the shopkeeper who is selling umbrellas. Okay. So these are all examples of relative problems. There are problems to some people, but not to everyone. So this is not what we are trying to solve. Okay. Because if we solve this problem, right, relative problem, right?
Solution will also be relative.
Yeah, solution should also be relative, and there is no standard solution, or there's no absolute solution that can solve problems for everyone. Everyone needs a different type of medicine, and what are the actual problems, or the real problems? Let's try to understand that. Okay, so I think this slide is messed up a little bit. It says criteria basically. Okay, That's the word, criteria. So what's the real problem? What's it? Oh. I spilled the beans. So just imagine you didn't see the slide, okay? Yeah. So what's a real problem? So I need some participation from online. Otherwise you could be sleeping, right?
I think people miss that piece, like whatever the problem or the situation is, it just makes you uncomfortable, uneasy. And so you're not at peace, you lose that stability. And that kind of within, that bothers you from within. And it just manifests in different forms. Someone gets depressed, someone gets angry, someone gets anxious. So that peace within is lost, that, the calmness that you have from within because of a tough situation or a problem. So.
Okay.
Having been dependent on the situations, on the people, expectations, those lead to problems. Like you depend on something and that doesn't happen.
Okay. Expectations. When your expectations are not met, that's a problem.
And also like depending on people, like for most of this stuff.
Okay.
And like when they can't do something like which you obviously expect them to do.
Yeah.
So dependence.
Okay. But yeah, whatever Monica described and whatever Arushika described, they are again relative problems. Okay.
Health problem is also a severe problem, right?
Rip your mouth. Yeah, Mahi, what are you saying?
Health problem is also, it's a real problem, right?
Health problems, they are real problems. Yeah, very good. Yeah, okay. Anything like that? Anything else like health problems? Anything else?
There is no solution. It's a big problem for any kind of situation.
Okay. So maybe I'll give you some clues. Okay. Let me share the screen and I'll give you some clues.
It's all right. Nobody got hurt, right?
Okay, so the criteria of a real problem, or how we define a real problem, is, as Madhav said, common to all, nobody wants them, and nobody can avoid them. Okay, this is the definition of a real problem. The three criteria for a problem to be considered as real problem. So Mahi said health problems, right? So let's check if it satisfies all these three criteria. Common to all, does everyone get health problems? Yes. Nobody wants them? Or is there anyone who wants health problems? Nobody wants them. Okay, very good. And nobody can avoid them. Is that true?
Yeah. Yes. Some or other time will be sick.
Yeah. If you try to solve one health problem, then something else will come. You may solve, and most of the problems you may try to solve to some extent, but not permanently. Okay.
Prabhuji, in that case, failures, no one wants it.
Failures?
Yeah.
Okay. Failures. Okay, let's see all the three criteria one by one. Common to all. Is it common to all?
Not really.
Not really, right? Yeah. So then it's not a real problem. Anything else? I know failure, nobody wants them and nobody can avoid them, but it does not happen to everyone.
Yeah, true.
So it's not a real problem. Okay, what else? Death, very good. Yeah, Madhu said death, very good. Death, common to all, happens to everyone. Nobody want to die, and nobody can avoid it. Nobody can avoid it. Okay. Pollution. Okay. I mean, in countries like Western countries, pollution is not a big problem. Okay. Or if you're living in a village, right? Pollution is not a problem. If you're living in a farm, sustained living, pollution is not a problem. So it's not common to all. In Bhutan, pollution is not a problem. Okay. So yeah, there are places, where it is not a problem. Yeah. I mean, our parents or grandparents, they never complained of pollution. Okay, only we are complaining of pollution. So it's not common to all. Common to all means
trees are more. That time
that time trees were more and not so much of industrialization, not so many buildings, So common to all means it's common to all who are living now, who are living in the past, and who will live in the future. Past.
Relationships. Prabhuji. Relationships.
Relationships.
Yeah.
It's not common to all, right? Somebody may have perfect relations.
Yes, it's not common to all.
Yeah, it's not common to all.
Disability.
Disability.
That is also not common to all.
Health. It's a health problem. Yeah. So we have two answers now. Health or diseases. Okay, let's call it as diseases and death. So we need two more problems. There are four problems that are considered as real problems. What is it?
Bad thoughts.
Bad talks. Bad thoughts. Okay. Bad thoughts.
No, some sages don't have that thoughts.
I mean, the saints don't have bad thoughts. Yeah. And if there are bad thoughts, we can avoid them.
Environmental problems, floods kind of.
Okay, very good. Yeah, very good. Jyoti said environmental disasters like floods and,
Yeah, disaster.
Yeah, very good. Natural disasters. Okay, this is the third one. So what's the fourth one?
Old age, maybe.
Old age is death.
Old age. Yeah. Actually, natural disaster. Sorry, let me go back to Jyoti's point. Natural disasters is a problem. We'll come to that. Okay, we'll come to that. So old age. So who mentioned old age? Sandhya or Mahi?
No, not me. Mahi.
Yeah, Arushika.
Arushika. Okay.
Very good, Arshika. So old age. So old age, death, and disease.
He has a fourth one.
No?
He has a fourth one. He's just not saying.
You have the fourth one? Okay. I was about to say, if somebody says fourth one, a fourth problem, then I have a prize.
He was asking me, is it a problem? I said, yes, it is. Go ahead, say it.
Okay, then I don't have a prize. You can say, but I don't have a prize. Okay. Fourth one. Wait a minute. Fourth problem. So far we have death, diseases, old age. Yeah.
Old age is same as death, right? Like, old age is similar to death, right? Like for people to die, they maybe because they're old, maybe by accident, maybe for some reason.
So old age means anything after 50 is old age.
Some people.
Some kids also die, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So old age, why old age is a separate as a problem. It's the same.
Because the anxiety that one goes through at the time of old age,
then that's a disease problem, right?
No, it's not disease. It's not disease. They don't have any ailment. They don't have any physical disease or mental disease. But the old age, they're not able to do things that they were able to do when they were young. Like climbing up stairs, or walking for a long time, reading. So, and the anxiety that old person goes through is very difficult. Yeah.
Prabhuji, if you're considering old age,
Ourselves.
Sandhya, 1 second.
I think we can
Yeah.
talking about old age and we ask this question to ourselves right now. We will understand that how hard it is. Even nobody, if you ask anyone and if you check with yourself, do you want to get older? Like really face that old age? No, not really. If you really pick, people say that it's easier to pick up death earlier than to pick up old age.
Old age. Yeah, given a
There are lot of
choice.
people they say. So there is, yes, what you are saying, I get it, because there's a little bit of kind of overlap, but then there are two different big problems.
Yeah.
The fourth one is ignorance, because if I don't know who I am, I will do all bad stuff, right? Like murders,
Okay.
Things like that. But if you really know who I am, maybe I do good thing for world or something.
Okay, excellent. maybe we should refine the device lights and say from now on 5 problems. That's a good point. Ignorance. But if you ask the saints, they're self-realized.
A lot of
It's not a problem.
people say sometimes ignorance is bliss, so nobody wants them is also not fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but some people want to be ignorant about certain things.
Yeah.
No, even the sage at the beginning he was ignorant. Then once he enlightened, then he knows all the stuff.
Yeah.
So,
But now there are so many sages, right?
Oh.
There are so many saintly people, who are self-realized, even though they are living amongst us, but they are self-realized and they know the Atma Jnana and they know who God is and they know how to see God, so it's not a problem. It's not a common problem.
Not having knowledge about God is the problem.
Not having knowledge about God. That's same, right? Ignorance. Okay, now let's go through the slides and see. Okay. Okay, death, as Madhu said, death. Old age. Okay, this is covering up here. Okay, so this is death, that is old age. Diseases. The fourth one is coming up. Madhav, you want to say? Birth.
Oh, right.
Okay. Birth. So how many of you agree that birth is a problem? You agree? Okay. You agree?
Yeah.
All other three comes because of.
That's a good point. Yeah, all the other 3 problems come because of birth. Okay, that's the root cause. Okay, that's one explanation you can give, why birth is a problem. But what's the actual reason why birth is a problem?
No, suppose so maybe in this life I did bad. In the next life I maybe do good and then get enlightened, right? Then birth is not a problem, right? For me.
If you go on a good path, then birth wouldn't be a problem.
If you are on a good path.
You'll get like you'll get
will
enlightened
moksha.
people, help people,
Yeah.
helping others helps you inside, and it's a good life.
But still you are subject to all the other 3.
Yeah.
Okay, even though you are on a good path and you try to get enlightenment, while you are alive, but while you are alive, you are still subject to the other 3.
No, at the time death is for me like on will I can do go on. Whether I die or not, on the will I go, right?
No,
So,
it doesn't happen.
Once I'm enlightened, I'm saying, not now.
Now,
Now
even
I'm a common man.
Yeah, even when you are enlightened, you cannot leave the body, by yourself. Yeah, I mean there are some, yogis who achieve mystic siddhis and they can do it, but very rare. How many? You can count them on fingers.
Yes.
Okay, very rare.
Yeah, you can count them on fingers. So even for them also, they have to leave this body, and the soul has to leave the body on so and so specific date. If they miss that, then they are in the body again. So it's not that straightforward. Okay. So why birth could be any explanation from online people?
Because like you go through that again.
Yeah, I feel that's the cause. And also I read it somewhere, I think in Gita only, that it said that if you are like if you've done some good deeds like previously, then again, in the next time, you're either born like in a very high class family or in a family which is very spiritual, and that is how you slowly advance towards the final goal.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. What you read, in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, Arjuna asked
Yes.
Krishna, what is the destination of those yogis who did not achieve perfection in this lifetime? Perfection means perfection on the path of self-realization. See, we are all on the path, right? We're all on, we just started the journey. Reading Bhagavad Gita, trying to understand, it's a long way to go. Things will not happen in overnight, right? It's a long way to go. For some people, they can achieve perfection in 1 year. For some people, it may take 10 years, lifetime, 10 million, 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, or 100 million lifetimes. Okay, it varies from person to person. So if you have completed, let's say, 10% of your sadhana in this life. So Arjuna asks, what is the destination of such people at the time of death? As Sagarika mentioned, in the next life, they will take birth in a good family, like a aristocratic family, rich family, or in a pious family, so that they can continue their sadhana. Why rich family is? So that they don't have to worry about the basic things. They're financially well off and they can focus on their spiritual sadhana. But that's not what we're talking about. The point we're talking about is why birth itself is a problem. Even though the person is born in a pious family, still it's a problem. Until he achieves perfection, he is subject to all these three. I mean, even a person who is perfect, they still have to go through death and old age and diseases. So why birth itself is a problem is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam.
In
Okay.
mother's home, we feel
Yes. Very good.
all these malam, mutram,
Yes.
Those things. Because
Yeah.
of that, we feel bad in mother's womb itself.
Yes, very good. Yeah. So, as Kalpana said, in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained in very detail what happens every single day while the child is in the womb. Every single day, what happens? It is explained. And it is explained that the child suffers the most in the womb than anyone else facing other problems outside in the material world. That the child in the womb faces the most problems than anyone else in the world outside.
Yeah.
Like,
I like to think of it like when someone is born, they're crying.
yes, yeah. The first thing they do when they are born is cry. Okay.
It's happy cry or what? Because
Yeah,
they
it's
already
not.
suffered a lot, right?
Yeah,
Inside?
it's not happy cry.
Okay.
So do you see that a happy cry when child is crying?
No, you like in the womb. You see, he already suffered a lot, right?
Yeah.
I thought like it's happy cry. No.
No. Happy cry does not. It does not have a sound. It's only tears coming and probably some smile comes out and yeah.
Inside, it will be dark.
It is dark. Yes. Yeah. It is very dark.
And they can't see anything.
Yeah. It's very confined. The place is very congested, confined. There is not much movement. It's very dark, completely dark. So many bacteria, worms around. Whatever mother eats, if the mother eats spicy food, the child has to suffer. Anything the mother does, the child has to go through those consequences. And so let's say somebody is there is a hardcore criminal and they are given a solitary confinement. So what solitary confinement is? Like Andaman Nicobar islands. If a hardcore criminal, they are very dangerous to even other criminals in the jail, they'll be sent to a solitary confinement where they are put in a underground cellar, and from time to time they are given some food, water, so they can't talk to anyone, they can't see the outside world. so that outside people are protected because he's so dangerous. So the situation of the child in the mother womb is more horrible than that solitary confinement. That's why the posture of the child in the womb is like a prayer mode. The hands are like this, and the child is in like a prayer mode. So it's explained in the Bhagavatam that the child is always praying. Those 9 months, the child is praying. Okay, I mean, in the initial stages, the organs are not developed, but as soon as the organs are developed, the child is in that posture, and the child is always in prayerful mode. The child. So what does the child pray?
I don't want to take next more birth, and I don't need to face this.
Yeah. So the child prays to God that, God, I'm suffering so much here. Please let me out. I will worship you. As soon as I come out, I'll worship you. As soon as I come out, I'll worship you. I'll always pray you, worship you. But we all know what happens as soon as the child comes out.
So he had a spiritual knowledge at the time, and small kid.
Because of so much of suffering, it comes. I mean, not the spiritual knowledge, but that thought to take shelter comes. Yeah. So yeah, it's very horrible. Both the child and mother both have to suffer. Okay. So we have heard so many complicated deliveries, right? So even the mother has to go through the problems.
If the sage has magic powers, right? They don't have to go through this womb and all. They can create like that, right? Like with the power.
What is that?
They can create the child like that. Like they don't have to go through the womb or something. Like.
So who can create?
No, like some sages who have powers. So they have that much power. Like they can create the child like, without going to mother womb or something. That I heard that.
No, only God and God's incarnations happen like that. Yeah.
So they don't have to go through that pain.
Yeah. When Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, or when Rama appeared, in Treta Yuga, their birth was not normal, ordinary birth like ours. So it's a spiritual birth. They appear in their spiritual body. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaroham. Chapter 4, Krishna says, whenever I appear in my original spiritual body. Okay. So it's not matter and it's not ordinary birth like ours. Yeah. So yeah, God is not subject to these problems. Yeah. So if you look at this slide here, but the irony is everyone celebrates the birthday, right? Okay, happy birthday to you. Every year we are getting closer to death, but we celebrate. And we are not saying don't celebrate, but just have some consciousness that you need to cultivate spiritual knowledge. As we are progressing, you need to cultivate spiritual knowledge because we never know when death will come. Okay. So Arushika, you were saying something, right? Or someone else? Okay, anyways. So these 4 problems, they are described in this shloka in Bhagavad Gita chapter 13, verse 9. Janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanu darshanam. Janma is birth, mrityu is death, jara is old age, vyadi diseases. Dukkha dosha anudarshanam. Anudarshanam means everyone must experience. Anudarshanam. Darshanam means see. Everyone must see these problems, these 4 problems. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi. But on the flip side, there are some people who don't believe death is a problem. Okay. We don't believe death is a problem. they say that science can one day come up with solution to death, and they can come back alive. There are some people, Walt Disney, who asked his executives before his death, he asked his executives to preserve his body. To preserve his body, because he believes that science can come up with solution one fine day for death, and then he can come back alive. That's why he asked to preserve his body. The project is called cryonics. Okay, you can look up cryonics, where body is preserved in some containers and under extremely cold temperatures. Extremely cold temperatures. And it costs millions of dollars per year to preserve a body like that. So the executives of Walt Disney, they followed his instruction for some time. His relatives and the family members, the executives, they followed his instruction for some time, and then they preserved his body. But after that, they pulled the plug. Either because they wanted to take that money, because now Walt Disney is not there, right? He's not going to come and check how they are spending that money. So they just pulled the plug. Either it was becoming too expensive, or these people became greedy and they wanted to take this money, whatever the reasons. But his body is not preserved anymore. And there are other people like Larry Ellison, CEO of Oracle. I used to work at Oracle. I worked for Oracle for 20 years. Okay, CEO of Oracle, Larry Ellison, and many other people in California, all the rich people in California, they're all planning for this same thing. They want to preserve their bodies so that science can come up with solution one fine day, and they can come back alive and enjoy their kingdom. Because they have so much of wealth and assets, right? Name, fame, and everything. They don't want to die. They want to come back alive and enjoy. But that's not possible. That's why when you see anyone who is, well appreciated, or who is very who has got so much of recognition in the society or at your school, at your workplace, so don't be allured or don't be fooled by seeing that. Now we can see, right? Walt Disney, CEO of Larry Ellison, these are considered the most intelligent people, super brains behind all these big companies, but they don't have common sense that death is inevitable and they cannot come back alive. Science does not have solution to death. They don't have that common sense. So then you can decide, whether they are intelligent or foolish people.
My screen is not being shared. The screen is not.
I'm not sharing, right? Okay. Yeah.
If that happens, people will be more greedy.
Yeah. See, before they think that they can overcome death, they should question that did they create life? Did they create life? They did not create life, and they don't have any say in death also. Okay. You can only control what you created. You have not created life. So how can you control death?
Maybe some point they can extend their life.
They can extend their life, but that is also subject to the number of breaths given to you. Okay, let's say somebody is suffering from some terminal disease, stage 4 cancer. Okay, by doing some chemotherapy or this thing or that thing, they can extend their life by few months or couple of years. But it's only palliative treatment, palliative condition, they say, right? So they can extend the life to some extent, but that is also whatever is granted to him. That quota is allotted to him. The number of breaths is allotted to him only. Only to that extent we can extend. We don't know that, right? So based on the physical condition, stage 4 and suffering, we give chemotherapy, so many things. and we think we are extending, but we are not actually really extending the lifespan. So whatever is given, only that much we can do. Yeah.
One more question. Like, I don't know if this is true, but I read that in Israel, the average lifespan of a person was around 100 years, and then it's up to I think 100,000 years, and then it's 10,000 years, and then
Yeah.
6,000 years. Now we are daily like 60, 70.
It used to be 100 years, but now 60, 70.
60, 70.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the book that talks about this? Why is it reducing?
Okay, good question. Okay. Why the lifespan is so small in Kali Yuga is the problems are so big. That's why the lifespan is small. Now imagine you are given 10,000 years to live in Kali Yuga. Do you want to leave?
No.
At least I don't want to leave.
Which person Larry was saying, the oracle CEO, right?
Yeah.
If I'm that person, why not? 1,000 years is better for me.
No, they'll still have problems. See, rich person does not mean they don't have these problems.
Yeah.
You know, they have all the problems. Now we talked about these 4 problems. Rich person, they'll have diseases. They'll go through old age, and eventually they'll go through death. Okay. And the diseases don't come only at the tail end of your life, right? Diseases they can come at any time. COVID, even the small children, young children, you know, they died. They suffered for a few months, and then eventually some of them died. Yeah, just because someone is rich, they are not, you know, they're
Michael
not.
Jackson's example is a good example here.
Hmm?
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson. Yeah. So he was very rich and very accomplished, you know, well appreciated, adored, admired, worshipped.
No, actually, it says that he has appointed a big team of doctors. They were always there to check on him.
Yeah.
Every few days he was like checked up. All the food that he ate was, verified that this is the right food that he should take. And he had so many counselors.
Yeah.
And he wanted to live like a long life, like 200 years, and he actually lived very short life.
Very short life. Yeah. So
there were like all types of counselors. They were always engaged full time. They were, yeah, Michael Jackson, full time.
Yeah.
So they cannot avoid death, right? So
not even he suffered a miserable death, in fact.
Yeah.
So it is not in his control.
It's not in his control. Yeah. So even if we say that, even if we assume the lifespan is 10,000 years in Kali Yuga, right? Doesn't mean that person will live up to 10,000 years. He can die after 1 year also. Yeah. So it's not in our control. And that's not the end. So we only discussed 4 problems, right? That's not the end. There are more. There is more to it. If you think 4 itself is enough, there are more. There are 3 more. 3 more gifts. Adhyatmika, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. So problems, Adhyatmika, problems created by body and mind. Adi Bhautika, problems created by other living entities. And Adi Daivika, material nature. You said natural disasters, right? Floods, hurricane, earthquake, all these things. Natural disasters. That's Adi Daivika.
Basically, what we are hearing, like what we understand from this is all the problems that we go through, any problem that we go through, can be categorized in these. That's one of these. Or are these additional problems?
All the problems that we go through in our life.
That can be categorized in these 3.
Yeah.
Like amongst these 3. So.
Yes. Yeah. The practical problems, day-to-day practical problems. We all discussed, right? Lust, anger, greed, problems, mental depression. Or you said something, right? Failure, or somebody said failure on the call. Sandhya said failures.
I said bad thoughts.
Bad thoughts. Yeah. Yes. All these things. Yeah.
Any problem that we go through can be categorized in one of these categories.
Yes. Yeah. All the practical problems in our day-to-day life. Yeah. Nicely summarized by Yashodamai. So you can categorize them into these three problems, these three categories. So body and mind. So we all know that mind is the biggest problem, right? That's the root cause of all problems, actually. So we all heard that story, right? The boy who cried the wolf. Do you know the story? Huh? Samit? No? Oh, you don't know that story? The boy who cried wolf. Oh, how come? We all grew up reading that story.
Yes.
Yes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a very famous story. So, so from that story, we can, we can understand there was no actual problem, but his mind was manipulating and he was creating a problem. So most of the times, even though there is no problem, the mind creates a problem. The same situation, if you look at it today, and if you introspect and think deep tomorrow, it will be different. The perspective will be different. Okay. Let's say somebody said something harsh to you. Okay. That person may be elder, but even though the person is elder, if they say some harsh words, you are hurt. You feel bad about it. So at that very moment, you feel very bad about it. But if you think with a cool head and then introspect and analyze, try to understand why they said those words, then your perspective will change and you will not feel bad anymore. The same mind is seeing the same situation from two different perspectives. So it's all, as they say, it's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, a controlled mind is the best friend, and an uncontrolled mind is the worst enemy. So the friend and enemy are within. So it's up to you how you nourish your brain, mind. So if you feed good thoughts and cultivate good knowledge, the mind will be controlled. Otherwise, the mind will be uncontrolled, and uncontrolled. We know what uncontrolled elephant can do. A mad, uncontrolled elephant, what havoc can it create? Similarly, a mind, if it is not controlled, it can create havoc. So then Adi Bhautika, problems created by other living entities. So there is a mosquito example given here. We are all Indians, so we know this very well. And they could not put other pictures of other living entities here. So what are the other living entities that you can think of? Problems created by other living entities. Bad neighbors, okay, very good. If they have a barking dog all the night, you cannot get sleep. So, yeah, yesterday only I got a email from, one of my neighbors about the same problem. Yeah. So they are hearing the other neighbor's dog barking all the night, and they're not able to sleep. Yeah. So neighbor problems. Someone is saying something online.
Yeah, vehicles sound, horn in India. Not say worldwide, it's in India.
Sorry?
Vehicles, it make it sound, right?
Honking.
The houses.
Okay.
They do a lot of noise every time.
Okay. Noise. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What else? You're all forgetting the classical example of problem created by other living entities.
Everybody knows, but nobody's talking.
Mother-in-law, how can you forget?
But somebody will have good mother-in-law. That's not a problem for everyone.
They say, right? The only daughter-in-law who is happy with their mother-in-law is when there is no mother-in-law. Yes. Yes, that's well said in Telugu like that. Yeah, problems created by manager, problems created by colleagues, neighbors, mother-in-law, or even daughter-in-law can create problems to mother-in-law. Or problems created by children. Samit, do you create problems to your parents? Yeah? Yes, he said yes. He's sincere. He's sincere.
Yes.
Yeah, and Adi Daivika, material nature. We all discussed this, natural disasters. These are the threefold miseries. So what's the solution? Is science and technology the solution?
No.
Definitely not. Okay. And then we have to think out of the box. So we have seen that science and technology is not solving our problems. Rather, they are increasing. We are seeing scientific.
Not attach it to it is the solution.
Not
Attach it to it. No attachment.
Not attaching to it is the solution. Okay, we'll discuss that. Okay, but so far we have seen that science and technology is not able to solve our problems. They are advancing so rapidly. Our problems are also increasing, but science and technology they're not able to solve.
So what's the difference between those 4 problems and 3 miseries? Like how do you differentiate them? What's the difference between?
What's the correlation between those 3?
Correlation or difference, yeah.
Correlation or difference. Now they are just categories. 3 different categories.
But why are they different than the other 4 problems we discussed?
The other 4 problems, like for example, birth and death, they happen either at the beginning of the life and end of life. Okay. Whereas the 3 categories, the threefold miseries, okay, they are called tapatraya. So tapa is heat, traya is problems. Traya is 3 problems. Tapatraya is these problems create heat throughout your life. As Yashodhamai mentioned, right? Your day-to-day problems, your practical problems, they can be classified into these 3 categories. Whereas birth and death, they happen at the beginning and tail end of your life.
Yeah, those problems, I guess we can say to it like these, that the 4 problems, Janam, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, those are the absolute problems that we all want to get rid of.
During your lifetime.
During your lifetime. And it is, even if you, because we also discussed that something is, there is a relative problem and then there is a real problem. So those 4 problems are the real problems that everybody wants to get rid of. But these 3 categories, whether it is a relative problem or your real problem, can be categorized. Any problem that you go through, any problem, whether it is relative or your real problem, can be categorized in these 3 categories. And everybody, whatever problems that we go through, these problems are created by one of these, and nobody can avoid them. Everybody has to go through them.
Yeah, these are also real problems. The threefold miseries, these are also real problems. But the difference is the magnitude of the problem created by these 3, is less compared to the 4 problems. Yeah.
Those 4 problems, that comes with the, that's irrespective, right? It's really not related with anyone else, no other person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only that, it's with birth.
Yeah.
It's just you coming into the material world and you get those 4.
Yeah.
So, and when we're talking about over here, Adi Daivik and all that,
yeah.
even though, these problems are, it can be relative, like when we're talking about Adi Bhautik, like created by other people or other living entities. It's not just your individual, it can be because caused by others too.
Yeah.
But this is not a solution to others. So these are still real problems.
Yes.
These are still real problems. These are still real problems. And so if you look at the other 3 yugas, right? Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Treta Yuga. So, for example, Satya Yuga, problems created by other living entities that may not be so relevant in that yuga. There were still problems created. First of all, there were no demons. Okay, in Satya Yuga, there were no demons. And Treta Yuga, there were demons. The demons the divine people, they used to live in one country, and demoniac people, they used to live in a different country. And Treta, Dwapara Yuga, same country, different city, but same country. Okay. And then Kali Yuga, same body. Both divine and demoniac qualities, they are in the same body. Okay. So that gives an example, how the magnitude of these threefold miseries in different yugas. Okay.
And miseries actually, like suppose the Indian yogi is there, his body and mind is be good, right? Like because, and then other living entities, no one can hurt him, even snakes and everything cannot hurt him also. And any disasters cannot do anything for him. Indian yogi, I'm saying, not the common people.
Yeah.
So those three are not problems for Indian yogi, right? The miseries with them.
If a earthquake happens,
yeah, it won't do anything for him.
Why?
My body will.
Why not?
No, he can protect like himself.
No.
At least first body and mind will be good.
If he's sitting,
maybe, but yeah.
If he's sitting in some place, so he's subject to the damage caused by the earthquake, right? Tsunami, earthquake, flood. Even if he's peacefully, meditating and in the forest in a very secluded place, still mosquitoes bite him, and I mean he does not respond.
He's not full of face, mosquitoes were there. Still he's meditating. That means it is not doing anything for him, right?
Yeah, it does not affect his mental, state, but your body is affected. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So I think I have a few more slides. Okay, 20 more slides, or what time it is? 12:53. Okay, let's quickly go through these. So now let's talk about this alternate paradigm. Okay, we know that science and technology cannot solve our problems. So now we are on the path to look for solutions. Okay, so one step is to understand the problem statement thoroughly. Okay, so we understood the problem statement thoroughly, and now here is another perspective that that tells the activities that human beings do and then animals do. There is a shloka: Ahara nidra bhayamaitunam cha samanyam etat pashubir narana dharmohi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubi samana. Okay, Madhav, you want to read that translation?
Both animals and humans share the activities of eating, sleeping, acting, waiting, and defending. But the special property of humans is that they are able to engage in spiritual life. Therefore, without spiritual life, humans
are on the level of animals. Okay, so if we are only cultivating the three Qs, the PQ, EQ, and IQ, then there's no difference between human beings and animals. So if we are not cultivating the SQ, the spiritual quotient, then therefore without spiritual life, humans are on the level of animals. So all the four things, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, animals do, humans also do. Animals do it in a crude way. For example, animal may eat on the street, whereas human beings, they may have sophisticated way of eating, sitting at the dining table and probably eating in golden plates with golden spoons. Yeah. So let's see what type of plates Yashodamai and the host they have for us after the class. Whether gold or silver or paper. So we might do things in a sophisticated way, but the functionality is same, eating. There's no difference. So if we are only doing those four things, there's no difference between animals and humans. Okay, then we are called Dvipada Pashu. Animals
And
with
actually
2 legs.
The scientists are trying to make us believe also that we are animals only. Like they say that.
They say evolution theory, right?
Evolution
We came from
theory,
animals.
they say that we are, everybody is in living entity, all are animals only, so we come into the animalia kingdom and everything. And
Yeah.
they emphasize that.
Yeah,
So,
in fact, I don't know here, but then at least when we were studying at certain class grade, whatever, we were actually told that even humans are animals. We are in
Humans
the
are
same
animals.
category of animals.
because
But we are not.
that's how they evaluate. Like, okay, this is sophisticated is okay, but they are still animals. Only.
Yeah.
Civilized animals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's
They say
how education
humanity-
system tells the kids, like they teach.
That's what is
because that's
being
their
put in our,
understanding.
that is what is being put in our heads, that we are animals, we are in that category, we are animals.
Yeah.
No, not all are, because some sages you said, like, because some are already enlightened, they are sharing knowledge, right?
Mhm.
So how can they?
I'm just talking
they are
about the
not-
modern education system.
Oh,
Yeah, modern education system. They teach, right? That we are social animal and
Civilized animal.
civilized animal. Yeah. So if we are only doing those 4 things, then we are called animal with 2 legs. So obviously, right? Science they cannot see the last quotient, the 4th quotient, SQ, spiritual quotient. They cannot see that. And then we can talk about this story, Alexander the Great. Okay. So I mean, I'll skip the story. Okay. But the goal of this story is to tell that both animals and human beings are doing the same thing. We are doing things in a bigger way, in a larger scale, in a sophisticated manner. Animals may be doing in a crude way, in a small scale and a crude way. Okay. But there's no difference. It's the same. In the interest of time, I'll skip the story. Now we saw the commonalities between humans and animals. The 4 things: eating, mating, sleeping, depending. The 4 commonalities. Now, what are the differences between animals and human beings? So human beings have the special prerogative of inquiring higher truth. They can inquire about life and death. Who am I? Where did I come from? What's my purpose in life? Why am I suffering? Why do bad things happen to good people? All these things. So human beings can inquire about. So whereas animals, they cannot. So this goat or sheep, happily eating grass, but it does not have knowledge beyond those 4 functions: eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. So this animal does not know that at any moment this butcher can kill this animal. It's thinking life is good, grazing the grass nicely. And there are 8.4 million species of life. 8.4 million species of life. Human beings, animals, insects, reptiles. So there are 8.4 million species of life. And the number of species of human beings is only 400,000. So that's not even 5%. Okay. So it tells the number of human being species.
Human population, world population.
Not population, the species. So now we can only see, we are only aware of 1 species of human being, right? Two legs and two hands and nice looking man or woman. But there are 400,000 other species of human life that we are not aware of. They may not be on this planet. They may be on different planets, different universe, different planet. So this talks about species of life in the entire creation, not only on this earth that we are living, not only this world. See, we have a knowledge of this world only, right? There are millions, and we have knowledge of only this planet, Earth planet. There are so many planets and so many universes, unlimited number of universes in this creation. So this number, 8.4 million species of life, it talks about life in all these innumerable number of universes. Yeah.
I mean, it's very specific. 4,000.
400,000.
This is written in Bhagavad Gita.
It is not in Bhagavad Gita, but Manduka Upanishad. It's in one of the Upanishads. There are 108 Upanishads. It's in one of the Upanishads. Yeah.
So does it come specifically Yaksha, Gandhara?
Yeah, yeah, I think, yeah.
Yes.
Yaksha, Gandharva, Rakshas, Kinnara.
Kinnara. Yeah. So
I don't know if this can, yeah, that is actually a better example.
Like
Yaksha,
demigod.
Kinnara, and all. But then there are demigods with different number of hands, different number of heads.
yes.
So they are also coming into the same category.
Yeah,
And
they are
but
humans,
still they are different.
but Brahma has, four heads, and some other demigod may have 4 hands. Yeah, it includes devatas, rakshasas, human beings, different types of humans, ordinary humans in different planet. Aliens if there are existing. So we talked about this, sense gratification, all these 4 common things between animals and human beings. You can put them in one word, sense gratification. Okay. So far we have been doing all these things, but we didn't know that it is sense gratification. So why we talked about that 8.4 million species of life, and then among that 8.4 million, human beings are only 400,000, is to say that how rare, it's less than 5% of the entire number of species of life. So that tells the rarity of human birth, how rare it is to get human life. How rare it is to get human life. So there is an analogy given in Srimad Bhagavatam to explain the rarity of human life. Okay, so imagine a big ocean, and then there is a wooden log floating on the surface of the ocean, and then there is a water, there's an aquatic animal in the water. Now that wooden log floating on the surface of the ocean, there is a hole, and this aquatic animal is trying to come out of the water through that hole. Okay, the wooden log is floating from one place to another place, and then the aquatic animal is also floating inside. Okay, trying to go through that hole of the wooden log. So what's the probability of success there? What's the probability of that aquatic animal to go through that hole of the wooden log and come out? It's very rare. It's very rare. Both are floating independently at a different speed, and then the chance of hitting that hole, when that aquatic animal is at that place, is very rare. So that how rare it is to get human birth. And when we have such a valuable human birth, and if we are not utilizing the full potential of it, if we are not using proper intelligence and asking these intelligent questions, why am I being forced? Why do bad things happen to good people? If we are not inquiring about this higher truth, then we are not utilizing our human potential fully. Okay, so let's say somebody is very rich, they're a billionaire, but they're not spending that money to their comforts, and they're only consuming a little bit. They're leading a pauper life. A person is billionaire, but he's leading a pauper life, very poor life, and without comforts, thinking that, okay, I'll save all my riches to my children, or I'll save all my riches to myself. It may come for my need when it is useful at the time of death, or when I have health problems and so on. If he's only saving and not consuming, He's a pauper. He's leading a pauper life. He's a miser, conjuse. Okay, that's what they say in Bombay, right? Conjuse. So he's a miser. So if we are not utilizing our human potential fully, then we are miser. So in Vedanta Sutra, Vedanta Sutras are like some coded principles, coded sutras. If you read the sutra itself, you don't understand much of it. Like Athato Brahma Jignasa. So Brahma Jignasa is inquire about higher truth. Jignasa is inquiry. Brahma is the higher truth. Okay, Brahma, Brahman, who is God, who am I? These are the intelligent questions, higher truth, absolute truth. But what is Athato? Athato means the Sanskrit meaning of Athato is therefore or thus. Thus you inquire. If you look at this sentence, the Sanskrit meaning is thus you inquire, therefore you inquire. So when you look at that, you don't understand much of it. So the Vedanta Sutras, they are like coded principles like that. So you need to understand what is there before and what is after. So what is there before Atato is you have taken this human birth. Thus you inquire. You have taken this human birth. Thus you question, you inquire. Who are you and why are you suffering? You ask intelligent questions. Having assumed human form of life, one should inquire about absolute truth. And these are some of the questions on the path of self-realization. Who am I? Where do I come from? Where will I go after death? What's my purpose? Why am I suffering? And how to be happy? How to achieve that true happiness, the real happiness. So we discussed, right, in Kali Yuga, it's only 100 years. In previous Yugas, 10,000, 100,000, and so on. The lifespan was more. Even though it is short, human life is short-lived in Kali Yuga, but still it is sufficient for anyone to achieve perfection. Actually, one can achieve perfection even in 1 year. If they are sincere, they can achieve perfection even in 1 second. There are stories in Bhagavatam where some living entities, they achieved perfection even in 1 second. Okay. So it says, although human life is temporary, it affords one opportunity to attain highest perfection. Even though the lifespan is small here, we can achieve perfection. Even the demigods who are living in heavenly planets, they are all aspiring to take birth in Earth planet. Because the chances of getting perfection on Earth planet is much more than what it is for people on the heavenly planets. Heavenly planet, the people, they can enjoy, right? It's unlimited enjoyment there. There are apsaras, and then there is somarasa to drink some kind of juice to increase the lifespan. And then there are all kinds of enjoyment there. Unlimited enjoyment in heavenly planets, Svargaloka. So even them are aspiring, even those people, they are aspiring to take birth on Earth planet. Because the chances of getting perfection on Earth planet is more than on heavenly planets. Why that is so, we'll discuss later in one of the sessions. So Atato Brahma Jignasa, Jivasya Tattva Jignasa. These are all Vedanta Sutras. This comes from Srimad Bhagavatam. So far we have discussed the problems. We discussed about real problems, relative problems, and within real problems, we saw the 4 problems and then the 3 categories of problems. Now we need solution. So before we can solve a problem, what do we do before solving a problem? So first you have understood the problem statement thoroughly. Okay. Now it's a 3-step process, right? Understanding problem statement, solving the problem, and in between there is one more step. What is that?
Find the solution.
No, solution is the third step. So first step is understanding the problem statement thoroughly. Last step is solving the problem. But in between those two, there is a one more step.
Inquire. Solve the problem.
Inquire. Someone online they said inquire.
Yeah, inquiry. Yeah.
Inquiry. Okay. What kind of inquiry?
Like why it is happening to us and how do we get the final, like how do we able to reach to the final result? No, like to know the truth.
No, let's say, let's talk about a simple software problem, right? Software bug.
Yeah.
So when there is, who said that? You said root cause? Oh, where do you work? Software, which company?
Microsoft vendor.
Microsoft vendor. Okay, good. So you have worked on so many bugs. RCA, right? RCA, root cause analysis. So you have understood the problem statement. Customer is not able to log in. Okay, that's a problem statement. Okay. Now you need to understand the problem statement very clearly. Okay. Even though it may sound simple, but you need to understand the details of it. And then before you can solve, you have to do RCA, root cause analysis. There is a temporary way of fixing the problem, but your manager will not agree, right? You have to provide both. You have to provide an immediate patch to fix the problem, on an emergency basis. But you also need to work on fixing the problem permanently. RCA, root cause analysis. Okay. So that's what we are going to do in the next session, the RCA. Going to the root of the problems. Okay. Why is it so? As someone said, right? Tanuka, you said, right? Inquire. Why is it happening?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, why is it happening? Why is it so? Okay, so summary of this session from last two classes. It's actually one topic, search for happiness, but we covered in 2 sessions. This is what we discussed so far. Okay, so we know that there are problems, but why is it designed this way? What is the root cause? So that we will know in the next session. So the topic for next session is, does God exist? Okay, does God exist? And the purpose of asking that question is, if there are problems, that means somebody must have created those problems. And when we try to analyze who has created those problems, it's not human beings, because human beings are facing problems. So we look up to some higher authority, some higher person, and that higher person is none other than God. So why God has created these problems, or does God exist first of all? Okay, that's the question. We'll discuss that in the next class. So any questions or reflections, any comments so far?
Could you go back to the summary?
Summary, okay. This one or the next one?
What does a pinprick?
Pinprick?
Still a pinprick.
Still a pinprick somewhere. See, we have so much of material advancement and science and technology sophistication in the pursuit of happiness, but still there is always pinprick all along our life. Pinprick means something is always bothering you. You're trying to achieve happiness, but there is something, there's some problem always. That's the paradox, right? What's the paradox? Paradox is you do something expecting some result, but when the result is completely opposite, it's paradox. So the paradox of our life is we are all seeking happiness, but we are getting problems in return. We are doing so much in the name of happiness, but we are getting problems. That's the paradox.
One question, Prabhuji. How
Yeah.
can we attain perfection in 1 second?
In 1 second? Yeah. So there is a story in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, we can discuss that, when time permits in one of the classes. But so in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitah. Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavan. Whatever you think of at the time of death, you will become that in the next life. Let's say somebody is thinking of, their children at the time of death. An old person, 90 years old,
Yes.
is natural death or of natural death, but he's worried about his children. What will happen to them? Will they be fine? Will they be quarreling with each other, or they'll be fine? Or what will happen to my business? All these things. So if somebody is thinking about that at the time of death, in the next life, they might take birth as a cockroach in their shop, because he's thinking about his shop, right? At the time of death. They might take birth as cockroach in the same shop, or he might take birth as one of the children in the next life. Or let's say somebody is thinking about an animal at the time of death. Like there was a story of Jada Bharat. Okay, Bharata Maharshi. Bharata Maharshi, he was very spiritual. He achieved almost perfection, not perfection, but he was on the Bhava stage. Bhava is one level below the perfection. Prema is the highest stage. And the Bhakti, Prema is the highest stage. Prema means what? Love for God. So he was just one level below that stage, Bhava. He has feelings for God, but not complete love. So when he was in that stage, the almost one but the perfection stage, in the Bhava stage, one day he was seeing a deer, the baby deer, without the mother deer, and the newly born baby deer, and no protection, no care given. Then he got so compassionate and was taking care of the baby deer just like his own child. And then he was so involved in that. He was always thinking of the deer, and then when he died, he was thinking of the deer only. So in the next life, he took birth as a deer. But God gave him a chance, second chance, and then he perfected in that second life, and then went back to God. He achieved perfection and went back to God. So Krishna says in that verse, Bhagavad Gita chapter 8, M Vapi Smaran Bhavan, whatever you think of at the time of death, you will become that in the next life. And if you think of God, then you go back to God. You don't become God, but you go back to God. That is a perfection. Now, your question, how can one achieve perfection in 1 second? So is it possible to think of God in 1 second? Yes or no? We can think. It's possible. In 1 second, so many things can be done. So many things can be done. Okay. And it's possible for somebody to think of God. Not everybody can do that, because all of your life, if you're not doing spiritual sadhana, and if you're only focusing on eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, you cannot think of God at the time of death. But there are special people who did that, and they were able to think of God in that 1 second, and they got liberated. Yeah. So we can discuss that story sometime.
Can animals also think of God?
No, animals. It's a progression for them.
They can think of God.
No, they cannot.
Elephant and cockroach stories there, right? Srikalahasti. Elephant is a animal.
Like Gajendra Moksham. We all know Gajendra Moksham, right? So Gajendra elephant was caught by a crocodile. But he remembered Vishnu, and the Vishnu came and protected him. Okay? But that Gajendra elephant was not an ordinary elephant. He was a celestial, body in the previous life, and for some reason he took a body of elephant as Gajendra, but it's not an ordinary elephant. If it is an ordinary elephant, no, they cannot think of God. We discussed, right? Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Only those four.
Right.
So for human, for animal species, it's only progression. There is no karma. Even if they kill other animals, there is no karma for them, because that's their duty, right? Like lion, tiger, they're supposed to kill other animals, and that's how they get the food. Okay, so they only progress from one species to another species, and the last species is cow animal. From cow, it's a human birth. Huh?
Then we all came through those phases.
Yes, yeah.
And nobody
we
want to go
went
animals, right?
Huh?
Suppose I'm doing that, they don't want to go lower again, right?
Yeah.
They want to go as a deer or something.
Yes.
Bad, right?
Yeah. So if we don't cultivate knowledge of soul, then we'll go down.
Down. Okay.
Yeah, we'll go down. And once we go down, once we miss this human life, then we have to go through all those 8.4 million species of life again.
That's why it's a very rare birth.
It's a very rare birth. Human birth is very rare. And if we don't utilize it, you're losing it. They say, right? Either you use it or lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. So, yeah. Anything else? Okay, if nothing else, it's already 1:20 and there's lunch ready for everyone. Yashoda Mai Mataji and Nanda Maharaj, they prepared nice lunch for everyone. So we all can have lunch together. Okay, thank you everyone for joining. Online people, you don't have that golden opportunity of eating lunch. So Sandhya and Sagarika, Mahi, thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Thank you.